AI is a way to just build something for the future. I was coding so much I didn't realize I blew through $100 in a day in GPT-4 5 credits because it just kept working. I could fiddle with settings, or I can just ask the AI and it figure it out for me faster than I figured with settings. 2 years ago, this would have taken like 3 months to do, and now I was able to do it in 2 weeks. That's why I'm doing this. I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know what it's going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 18 months, but like right now, it's so much fun.
Tell me a little bit really quickly, who are you and what is your business?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I should have that ready, but I never do.
30 seconds.
Tell me,
who are you?
30 seconds. Tell me about your life story. I should call myself entrepreneur, but I really don't like that because I don't think I have like any tremendous successes under my belt. I just like building stuff, and occasionally I might be able to do something that's useful. A couple of years ago, I built this like little startup in AI that I sold for a little bit of money. That was fun, and since then, I've been playing a lot with AI. Like I mentioned, I have it's like a brick-and-mortar business called Brickworks, which is like sort of like an actual business, and AI is a way to just build something for the future. And so recently I've been building a ton of stuff. If you look at my GitHub history, I probably went from like, committing once a day, maybe a couple times a week, to having like 20 commits a day or more, just because that's what AI allows me to do, right? The speed with which I'm going. I mean, but like a couple of days ago, I was coding so much I didn't realize I blew through $100 in a day in GPT-4 5 credits, because it just kept working and I kept asking it questions. I kept doing stuff, right? And then Cursor sends me an alert. So you're over your limit. So but that's what I've been doing recently. Okay. In terms of the business, I've just been trying to build all the things I've been yearning to build for the last couple of years and couldn't because everything would take time. I'm actually relaunching a startup that I tried and failed 10 years ago. It's called Scoudsie, and it's going to enable people to build projects with AI, but not technical people like me, but somebody who might be a project manager with an idea. It will actually guide them start to finish through the entire project using AI. So that's like one of the main things I'm focused on.
Tell me the AI business that you started and sold. What was that?
That was called Smarty Names, and it's shut down now actually, but you could generate domain names with AI. And it would actually go and find available domain names and like kind of think for you how to generate clever names that weren't yet taken. And it would do all of that in the blink of an eye. That was a lot of fun. I'd say about 2 years ago. It was still early. Like AI was not hyped up yet. It was like right at the beginning of the hype curve, and it worked out great. And I had no idea how domain world worked at that time, nothing. So, I had to learn about it. But then at some point I came to a realization. I was like, I don't actually want to know more about this space. Like I didn't do this because I was passionate about it. And so I sold it to somebody in Michigan, and they ran it for a while, and they decided to go in another direction, which is fine by me. But it was a great learning experience.
Was that right when ChatGPT had been released? Well, I hate saying that because ChatGPT has been around for a while, but when it hit mainstream, was it before or after that?
It was right about then.
Okay.
Like everything moves so fast in AI.
Yeah.
Things happen on a daily basis, so it's really impossible to like even remember now how it was. But that tool was the first tool for domain generation using AI, and that's why it also caught on Hacker News, and people saw it. They were like, "Wow, this is going to totally take domain squatters out of business." When I launched, like I had GoDaddy email me like the next morning, be like, "Oh, you want to sell domains through us? Like here's a referral code, blah blah blah."
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it made some money through referrals, but that particular business was actually a cutthroat business in domaining. It's not great. I've learned enough to be like, I either have to really double down and maybe raise money to really compete in this space, or not compete in it at all. And for me, it was a better idea not to compete in it at all.
In the business space, I'm seeing a lot of companies that are either building AI products or using AI to accelerate their current business. I'm more interested in the using AI to accelerate your current business. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm wondering how people are actually utilizing it right now? Because everybody likes to talk about it. I just don't know that they're actually utilizing it in the way that they're talking about it. So you have a business in Breckenridge, Colorado called Breckenworks?
Brickworks.
Brickworks. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is what kind of business is that?
That's a co-working space. So tourists come here on ski vacations, realize they can't really work out of their Airbnbs because the internet's bad or whatnot, and they just show up and work with us.
Are you using AI in that business right now?
Oh, I'm not going to screen share yet, but for that one, I don't really code much. I've coded everything I needed for that already, right? So, but the way I'd use AI, like this morning, I decided to test our guest network because I'm usually on my own admin network, so everything is good, right? So I'm testing guest network, and I get some pop-up about like SSL certificate not being correct, whatnot. So I could sit there and wonder, like, oh, what should I do? Or I just screenshot everything, go to Grok, put it in there, and I'm like, literally like, hey, look, I run this guest network in my co-working space. This is the error I got. What do you think I should do? And Grok's like, well, it's probably because like you're using Unify certificate. You should go to Let's Encrypt and get yourself a fresh certificate, then upload it. Here's the instructions of where you need to upload it, and then you'll be fine. It's like, great. That took whole of like 10 seconds.
It's your IT team.
It's my IT team, right? And that's like my everything team. Like the other day, this is amazing, right? Back to like brick and mortar business. And I wish I showed this to all of my friends in like real businesses.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, like a lot of them still don't even know about AI or don't even think like this could help them. It's so weird. Like you show it to people and they're like I can ask it anything. They're like, yeah, literally anything. They're like, well, what I'd ask? And I'll give you an example. So I needed to like patch up some holes in the walls, and I have spackle, but all the tools that usually put spackle in a wall. I don't know if you've ever like dealt with walls, but they're kind of wide and like, or it's just like meant for bigger jobs. I have like really this thin, narrow gaps. So I go on Grok and I'm like, hey, Grok, that thing that you use to squeeze silicon out of a tube, like what is it called? It looks like a crayon. And that's how I explain. Like, it looks like a crayon and you squeeze it with another device. And Grok's like, oh, you're probably thinking off, and then gives me a whole explanation. It's like, this is what you're looking for. And because the inner tube, you can buy an empty tube, then fill it up with whatever you want to put in and then squeeze that out. I'm like, great, $10 on Amazon. Now I'm good to go for my project.
What's it called? Is it not a caulking gun? I've just always called it a caulking gun.
You're right. It's caulking gun, but like,
okay.
Probably, I don't know. Let me see. But
probably,
what I mean?
Probably not even that.
But that's how I use like AI in real world.
I used it the other day. I was like, hey, my camera's not working. This is the picture that it's spitting out. How can I make myself look better? Basically, was the question.
Great.
And it was like, oh, okay, well, your exposure might be set to this, or your aperture is here, or have you tried a new lens? And it like gave me a bunch of suggestions. It was really cool.
Literally this morning, like right before we jumped on this recording, right? I know I can use my iPhone to have like the back-facing camera as the camera for this recording. I connected my iPhone and it's a wide angle. And I'm like, Grok, why is my camera set to wide angle, right? Well, it's because Apple changed their settings and now you have to go like click on top where it says FaceTime and then go somewhere. And then actually, if you hover over the image, that's when you can zoom in and zoom out. There is no like, here's 3 cameras on your iPhone, choose one. Again, right? Like, like I could fiddle with settings, or I can just ask the AI and it figure it out for me faster than I figure with settings. So that's like real life, I think, experience of like how anyone should be using this. Like, it's so good.
I'm curious because you said it now a couple of times. You're using Grok mainly as your default?
Yes. So for coding, I use a lot of Sonnet thinking model. And for everything else, I use Grok a lot. I used to use ChatGPT. I find Grok way faster. I mean, clearly because Elon bought like billion GPUs, right? And then it's very fast and it's also funnier. Like ChatGPT sounds like a PhD student who's a little tired and just trying to give you like a very long response. Grok's still like upbeat and like, oh yeah, sure, I could do this for you. No problem. Here's 3 lines, Like I love it so much. It's just, and I was going to share this in the newsletter with my subscribers, but I think like everyone should try all of these different tools and try all of these different models because it's like working with people. Like you like some people more than others. Except now you can choose to just work with the people you like.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. So Grok For those who don't know, Grok is from XAI or Twitter, right? It's Elon's company. Sonnet is from Anthropic. They've created a model. And then ChatGPT is obviously OpenAI. So you said you use Grok for most general queries and you use Anthropic for coding assistance?
Yeah. And for coding, I mean, we can get into it in detail if you want, but for coding, I use different models. So currently I use primarily Sonnet, the thinking version, because it basically takes longer to respond to you, but it creates a better response. So it doesn't just spit out.
Is that 3.7? Is that right?
Yes, 3.7.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It just, instead of like just spitting out the first response and can think of, it literally goes through loops and gives you something better. So that's been really useful. But like I said, I've tried ChatGPT 4.5. That one just came out, but it's really expensive, like $100 in a day expensive.
It's not great.
And I use the also ChatGPT. Well, we call it ChatGPT, it's really OpenAI, but the O3 mini model that they created is specifically for coding, and it's very good on smaller tasks.
This is a dumb question. Is Claude the same as Anthropic?
Yes, it's their ChatGPT equivalent. So it's their
what's Sonnet then?
app. Sonnet is the model that powers Claude.
Claude? Oh,
yes.
Okay. So Claude,
right? Because you have the base layers with models.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have essentially the UIs and like companies that own that. So like O3 Mini is a model by OpenAI that you can load in ChatGPT, right? And so forth.
Okay.
Don't worry. They had an interview with the CEO of Anthropic, and he mentioned how this is a cluster nobody understands, and like they should figure out how to do it better. But right now, and the irony is after he said that, like, yeah, we'll do better, then they released another series of models with like complicated namings. And it's not just you, like literally nobody knows anymore, right? They're like, well, do I use this? Do I use that? And actually the latest edition of Cursor now allows you to just say, hey, Cursor, pick the best model for me and just do stuff. And I think eventually we'll get to where models will do that. They'll have like a router that will do this.
There's a ton of different models. People use different models for different purposes. Like you're using Claude, Anthropic, whatever, for coding, Grok for most general functions. I find Grok is better because it's more real time as well. Like I can get real time information. All right, let's talk about how you're using this in your business. I'd love to see, because everybody's talking about, I'm using AI, blah, blah, blah. But then you dig into it and you're like, you're not really using AI. Like you say you are, but it's clunky or it doesn't work the way that you have advertised. So I'm curious to see how you're using it in your business.
Yeah, let me just screen share with you and then we'll go and explore.
Is this revenue generating or is this like cost saving?
This is aspirational that it will generate revenue. So I'll show you. So this is, like I said, this is still coming up. This is going to be available on Scoudsie.com, but people will have to pay for this. And the idea is that you can generate a chat. Let me see if I can show you one of the already available ones. So this is a real chat that I generated with AI. I said, I want to create a duck catching net that can be easily deployable at a park to catch wild ducks. Help me. It's ridiculous, and I can send you a link to this full chat. I have it in my newsletter. Then our AI goes and has a conversation with the user about this project. So this is like real, you can literally, if you know what you want to do, but you can't think of the steps, like we have all the steps here for you, the MVP steps of how to develop a product. But the AI will guide you. This is a complete product. That's why you see mostly everything checked off. But you can see the AI actually having a conversation, asking user questions. And then as long as you respond, it continues to have conversations with you. And like, there's like 76 messages in there. I'm just, it asks you and then analyzes your responses. And it's specifically tailored.
When you say product, is this like a digital product? Could this be a physical product? Could this be a plan, an implementation plan? Like what does product mean?
Well, in this case, I was joking with the duck catcher, right? Because sure. I just wanted like an obscure idea to see how it behaves, but it could be anything. Right now, we have it tailored for digital products. So if you want to build an app or a web app, something like that. But really, as we've been playing with this and I've showed it to some people, I started getting inbounds of like, oh, well, can you do it for a physical product? Like, Can you then get me to somewhere where I can pass it to somebody who can go and make it like a CAD mock-up? And we certainly can. Again, so this will be available, and we're kind of hoping this would be really big because this is exciting. Like a lot of people struggle with, well, what do I do, right? Like where do I start? This will get you completely through this.
What if I'm a business owner and I'm just like, I want to grow into a new territory. How do I even think about the plan to grow into a new territory? Well, like, will it help me with that kind of a project, or is this just?
For now, no, because like we want to start with something simple. But since you were asking me, like Grok, let's go to Grok. And like, let's say I have a podcast where I teach people to use AI. How do I expand it to new audience? Right? Here, identify new audience segment, leverage guest speakers. Like, you can be sitting there and thinking about how to do this, or you can just get a list. And the beauty of AI, like, okay, maybe not all of this is applicable to you. Some of it is. Why spend time on brainstorming? So we're doing this, but with a very strict focus. And at the end of it, you'll be able to actually hire yourself a team if you want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I always say I like using AI as the first bad idea. It's like, just get me started. Like, give me something to go off of that I can brainstorm after.
Let me show you, like, it doesn't have to be a bad idea. Come on. Like,
I don't mean it's a bad idea. I just mean like, give me something to work off of, right? Because you need something to at least start with. Oh, here's a frame of reference that I can work.
So I'll show you this. I had an idea. Okay. Actually, it started here. It started with subtitlesking.com. Totally goofy website.
Some guy sitting on the toilet?
Some guy sitting on the toilet. You can't turn on the audio. You want to get subtitles for your video. As a creator, I mean, in the studio we're recording right now, they'll edit for you. But for many other use cases, it's not yet available. So this app, you just upload a video, and it will quickly create subtitles for you. That took a couple of days to figure out from start to finish how to put it all online. There's no billing here. This is free. And people been using it, it's absolutely free. Like, it's just fun. But then I was like, well, how do I take this to the next level? So meet transcriptking.com. It actually does transcripts. It does translations. It uses Whisper by OpenAI. It can do it in all the languages. And the beauty is this whole thing, well, this took about 2 weeks to create, not the whole website. Well, the whole website plus all the scripts that actually do this, or transcription, transcribing, blah, 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 setting this up on the server, getting all the certificates, building a script that updates, checks everything, saves everything, backs up everything, like everything start to finish. Like, 2 years ago, this would have taken like 3 months to do. And now I was able to do it in 2 weeks. And it was basically done in 3 days, but then I spent another 10 days making it substantially better.
What did you use to build it? Cursor?
Yeah, so this is the front end and Cursor. I was fixing something, so I still have it open, right? Like, but this is all Next.js front end, and Next.js is hosted on Vercel. But the beauty is I could easily host it by myself now because I've asked Cursor to teach me how. I just find Vercel like cheap enough that it's not a big deal. But the server part actually lives on my own server that costs like $20 a month.
Do you have coding experience?
I do. I've been coding for like over 10 years now.
So how hard would it have been for somebody to build this website on Cursor with no coding experience?
Well, let me show you something like from my latest query. Here you go. I said, can you create an FAQ page? Replace transcriptor, which is like the FAQ page that looked nice that I found, with Transcript King and net relevant answers. Use Tailwind FAQ page style. So it goes ahead and writes this whole code basically in one shot, and it's done.
What do you do with it after it's written that code? Do you just copy and paste it, and like
it just works. So here
it's connected. So the cursor's connected to your website?
Yes, I'm going to show you in dev because I haven't pushed the updates. Like,
I didn't know that. Okay, so you're writing in Cursor. I don't know much about websites anyways, but so you're not using WordPress or any of these other platforms that are building websites. You're just using Cursor.
Yes. And so I literally asked it to do this FAQ page. and it just built it for me. So I still have to change all the content if I wanted to. It probably, I haven't even read it yet. Like literally, I just did it 2 minutes before our call. I just like the simple style of questions, and I'll update the questions. And actually, what I've been doing a lot is if I change something in my code, I'll go to Cursor and I say, like, for example, hey, knowing everything you know about my site, can you update FAQ with anything that's missing? Boom. And so now it's thinking, it's basically analyzing my features and has like a running memory of everything it knows that I've already built. And now it's just going to see like all the steps about planning and processing. Like it's actually trying to figure out what my content is.
Okay, I'm an idiot. So let me just try to understand what you're saying here. I can create a website using natural language by just saying, hey, create me this website. And then Cursor will actually write the script, the code for the website.
Let's do it. Now, I know you want to eat. We're going to take 5 minutes.
No, let's do it. I'm in.
What are we going to call our website?
Let's call it, I mean, we could just create a random website, right? Like create a Nickonomics podcast website. That's my podcast. Let's just create a Nickonomics podcast.
Nickonomics. Is that
Nikon economics? It's like economics except with a Nick in the front.
Yeah. So anyways, I may have misspelled it, but we'll deal with it. Okay. So hold on. I'm just going to accept all the changes. See, it just updated my FAQ based on my request because I understood what my website is about.
Jeez Louise.
And so if I refresh this, now FAQ got longer. Like I didn't have to write any of this. I'll still review it. And as I've been working like this for the last couple of months, I have maybe a lot of tips and tricks of how to actually prompt it better or kind of like help it do a better work for you. But okay. So do you have favorite websites, podcast websites that you are inspired by?
Oh, wow. I can just go choose podcast websites?
Yeah.
Creator Science by Jay Klaus.
There you go. So Creator Science. You can go here and say, wow, is that the right one? Creator Science? You can say, so let's just say this. I really love Creator Science podcast website and would like one for myself called, is it with a K or C? Sorry.
K, Nickonomics
podcast, right? Can you create me a basic, we'll start with HTML, a basic HTML website using Tailwind that looks like that, but for my podcast. So see, it's generating stuff. And it's like, we're asking it for basic stuff. Sure, I still need to know to maybe ask it for basic HTML stuff. I may need to know to reference Tailwind.
What if I sent you like my, let's just say logo? Is that helpful or is that not helpful?
It will be helpful. You can steer it. I mean, you'll just give it content.
Well, I was just saying, so like, if I gave it my logo, would it then generate the website to have the same color scheme?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will. In fact, so we'll go back to Transcript King while that's generating. The colors were all different here. And then like, I wish I had an earlier version screenshot, but like it looks decent right now, right? Like not terrible. And so at some point I was like, hey, can you give me options for colors that look expensive? And it was like, okay, well, there's this dark green and beige, and then there's gold, and give me some options. And I was like, okay, cool. This blue theme kind of appeals to me. Like, can you make me a whole website like that, right? And he just knows. And then sometimes, so what I can also do is, I think I've already fixed it. So it kind of looks okay on mobile right now. But for example, this section, everything here was actually really narrow, right? Like it was kind of like right here in the middle. So I just took a screenshot of this section. I was like, hey, can you fix padding? It doesn't look very good. And it knows that I mean that I want.
So you uploaded the screenshot.
Mobile.
You just uploaded the screenshot and it knew what to look for.
Yeah. And that particular trick is best for this Sonnet 3.7 thinking. Actually, I haven't tried the Max yet. It's a new model I should try. But see, like, look, it's generating us code for the like entire website. And in fact,
Oh, generating my website right now.
but yes, we'll put it on GitHub and then you can like make a new website. I'm pretty sure you have a good website.
I do. No, yeah, my website's great. I just,
Yeah,
that was the only thing I thought of.
But like, yeah, it's fine. But like, look, like I told it to use Tailwind and it knows where to get it from. And it's
What's
just
Tailwind?
Tailwind is a CSS framework that like makes all websites look the same.
Okay.
Kind of joke. For a while, I was like very much against Tailwind because it literally makes everything looks the same, but it also makes everything a lot faster to build because they've pre-built all the components. So like when I showed you the FAQ page, right? Like if you click on this and the thing expands, that takes a little bit of code. Like all the components like this, or like if we go to back here, like these things, the fact that 3 of them are in a row and the logo is here and it looks nice, or like this things side by side, or like this creator comments are like laid out. It takes a little bit of time. And so they abstracted all of that and you just basically say, I want it to look like this, and it builds it for you. But a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, you still had to learn Tailwind. Here, we can give them a shout out. See how they show you all the components? A year ago, you still had to learn Tailwind sort of notation to use it. And that's what I found annoying because I'm like, well, I might as well learn the CSS that this is based on and use that. But now you can just tell AI what you need and it builds it for you. So like you don't need to learn anything. All right. I think we're done with your website.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was going to ask.
Let's see if we can open it. There you go. Economics podcast.
With that one simple podcast.
Intersection, technology, and society.
My gosh.
Like look at that. I mean,
and if I wanted it refined now I go in and with natural language say, this is what my podcast is about. Here's who my guests have been, like whatever.
You can say this, I would like colors to change to gold and something fitting to gold. Can you do it? Right? And then we'll go in and think about it and we'll change it. And like, look, you've got this like little animations. We don't have any other pages yet, but it's created a README with features and styling. And it's funny because it actually knows to, and it knows to create a README because I've actually instructed it behind the scenes. The new model might actually know this too, but I've specifically instructed the models I work with to create and repeatedly update the README. So as I always have in most.
I know what a README is. I know what it is, but like for someone who doesn't know what a README is, what's a README?
Something that helps other people to pick up your work and figure out how it works and take it from there, right? So it keeps track of everything in this case and explains it. And I mean, this is basic, but you can ask it to explain in detail. Actually, I guess I've already closed it, but I was going to show you my like infinite long README. But yeah.
Oh, like if I went to another coder, they'd be able to take the README and understand how and why it was created up to this point?
Yeah, so they don't have to look through the entire site for hours, but let me open something recent. So I'm going to open the Transcript King backend and open the README here. And it's not that bad, but there's like API routes. But basically, like I send it to a friend that I work with, and I was like, hey, here's how this whole thing works.
Holy crap, Kirill. So why did I just spend $5,000 on creating my website, dude?
Well, why did you?
Oh my gosh.
Well, this is remember I told you about Scoudsie 2.0 that I'm working on, and that's our goal, where like we give you as much as we can up front where it gets you started. But then if you really want to make it good and like you don't want to do this, because believe it or not, a lot of people still don't want to do this. Then we'll do it for you. Like I'll take on the hard work of like actually sitting here and talking to AI all day. With practice, I'm going to talk to it faster and better than you would. Yeah. Look at that. We just changed your website to gold.
Oh my gosh.
Looks amazing. Look, there's even like a fake picture of some, podcast host that we don't know who that is. So, hey, welcome to Economics 2.0.
Now, if I have specific information, it's like, I want all of my episodes listed. Here's the link to all of them. Can it do that?
Economics podcast. Which one is yours?
I can't see, but I think that top one. Yeah, that's my website.
Sweet. So Here we can do that. Here's a list of podcast episodes. Can you add it to this new website? Yeah. So the ability to browse, right? Because I gave it a link and now it will actually browse is fairly new. Maybe like 3 months ago wasn't yet available. The ability to just drop an image and for it to figure it out wasn't available previously, but it is now. And it's improving. There's a number of companies competing in the base models. There's a number of companies like Cursor who are competing for what the development interface looks like. And like, honestly, like I told the Cursor guys the other day, I'm like, if I wasn't so hell bent on like making my own stuff, I'd go work for them because I'm pretty sure they're the next Google. And then, but that's like saying it lightly. They're like the next internet because think about it, right? Like right now we can ask a model to build us a website, but that model in the background is building Cursor. It's also figuring out what Cursor needs to be better for me. In the next iteration of that is you have an interface that's entirely like agnostic to an interface. You just talk to it. And I'm typing right now, which is like so archaic. I mean, so like yesterday. Eventually you just, it's true. Eventually you just talk to this thing and things appear and disappear. There's no interface. There's like a canvas and you talk to canvas and you get a video or you get a block or you get a math game and it just goes in and out, whatever, right? Like, your computer looks like a box that just does stuff for you.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. What is the difference between Cursor and Replit?
One of them
Because when I talk to people, oh, dude, yep, you're right there. One of them works. When I talk to people, they're like, Replit is freaking trash, bro. Cursor is amazing. But I mean, lots of people use Replit and everyone's talking about how cool Replit is. But you think Cursor is where it's at?
So I use Cursor because I've started with this and it works for me, works great. My friend uses Windsurf, which is another tool like Cursor, and he loves it. And I tried it and I couldn't make it work because it's different. And again, it's going back to like, it's like working with your friends. All of a sudden you just have certain expectations and they just don't work for you anymore. Like, look, we just asked the thing, your website, let's see if we have, it updated something, that's for sure. Do we have, let's see what it's updated. So we don't have the episodes yet. It tells us it's completed stuff. I'm just trying to see if it actually added episodes. Oh, look, yeah, like I guess it added like nicer placeholders, but not the episodes yet. So anyways, that's not you, is it?
No, that's not me. Still, like I have a website. I could go and create a website myself. I don't need, and how much does it cost to like host this?
Free. It's an HTML page. You can technically just throw, if it's a simple HTML page, you can throw it on GitHub pages for free. Like I said, I use Next.js for front-end framework, which I then host on Vercel, which ends up costing for all the projects I have on there right now, like $50 a month, which is honestly quite a bit. For the backend, I just like separation of concerns where like the logic of things ends up on a backend, not in the same application. That I pay $29 a month for, and I have like 6 projects hosted on that server right now.
If I was somebody, and I was like, I have no coding experience, but I know I can go get businesses to pay me to create their websites or to manage their websites. I could start a business right now, creating websites for businesses, right? And like, I would just have to go ask them, hey, what does your business do? Give me some information. What are some websites that you like? And then I just feed that into Cursor and I'll just start iterating.
Yeah, essentially.
You just, yes. I was like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
I'm pretty sure people are already doing that already. And people cloning a bunch of apps. Like, you should look on the Apple App Store how many clones of ChatGPT there are, because it'd be like, chat system for X. And you don't need a lot of users. You just need some number of users to pay you like $20 a month. And they're just wrapping the ChatGPT API. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. All they're doing is taking the ChatGPT API and then they're paying on a per call basis, whatever.
Yep.
But they're charging you.
That's amazing.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. It feels like a gold rush. It's like, just get in there while the getting's good.
That's why I'm doing this, because I think it's like once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know what it's going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 18 months. But like right now, it's so much fun. And it's not just me. It's a lot of my friends too. Like, we know how to code, but coding got really repetitive and boring and tiring. And with this, it's got exciting again. Because I still read the code. I still try to sway the AI to do stuff, but stuff like you get tired coding. And if something before took a week because you got into a bunch of road bumps, you had to figure something out, you have to go read the documentation. And now I did the same thing in 4 hours. Well, I have the rest of the week to do other stuff. Like I'll still work, I'll still do more stuff. Just like, I'm not blocked.
You're just more
anymore.
efficient. You're not.
It's extremely more efficient.
Yeah, you're not eliminating anybody's job. You're just more efficient.
Yeah,
dude, Kirill, this was amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so tell the people your website, your newsletter, kind of where you're building.
If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, learn more about AI, it's novice.media. My website is my full name.com, kirillzubovsky.com. If you want to check out Scoudsie when it comes out, I'll put it in my newsletter. So basically just subscribe to novice.media and I'll share everything there.